Fury. So, Tommy Fury is going to fight Anthony Taylor. And this is going to be happening on, you would guess, Ake Paul's undercard. On the Ake Paul versus Tyrannosaurus Rex Woodley. And what are my thoughts? Personally, I'm a little like, what? And I'm also like, huh? And I'm also like, okay. And I'm also like, really? Because I feel like this kind of seems like a bit of a cheating thing for Jake, because essentially Showtime wants Tommy Fury and Ake Paul to fight after this event is over, and Jake, I think, has given Tommy his sparring partner Anthony Taylor, or Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor, and you know, it seems weird that, it just, the whole thing seems a little bit weird. I wouldn't say, I don't think they're trying to stage this, but like, I don't know, like, is this just to build up a fight, so this, because they know this event might not do the numbers that they're hoping? Like, I don't know. Like, let me know in the comments down below if you think this might be a bit of a staged, or if this is just like a business thing. Because I mean, Jake is essentially like, that knows that the audience, that we the people, want to see him fight Tommy Fury. He thinks that his numbers aren't great, so he's gonna put Tommy in America and see how he does. And I don't think it's a terrible business move, but it's weird that Showtime, like in the article I read, they were like, oh, Showtime wants Tommy to fight Jake, and I don't know, it just seems weird. But moving on. So the second piece that I want to go on is that Anthony is Jake's sparring partner, and I think his boxing career has been one loss, or maybe no losses at all. I'm not sure how good of a fighter he is, because I am not home, I'm traveling, so I've not had the time to look at that, but I think Tommy will win this fight. I don't think it will be a one-sided bloodbath, but I see Tommy winning that pretty, not easily, but like, not, like, it's, I don't think it will be like the hardest thing, but maybe it will. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. So that fight's gonna be on the undercard, and yeah, so, and you know what, I'm liking that Jake is gonna maybe fight Tommy, although, to be honest, this was the fight that should have happened instead of the fight we're getting now, and I think that if Tommy Fury and Jake fought now, I think it would be, I think that event does better than this event, or it would have done better if it actually did happen, because no one was asking for this, and, I mean, it's an intriguing fight. Like, this is Jake's first, like, interesting fight, but at the same time, it's not the fight that the fans wanted. So, yeah. And going on to the third thing I wanted to talk about was that this pay-per-view price is going to be, hold on, $59.99, and I think this event is going to flop hard. Now, I know people say that, Jake Paul and Ben Askren did great pay-per-view numbers, but Eddie Hearn, Dana White, Usman, boxing experts, various articles have been written on the fact that those numbers were not the accurate numbers, and Jake doesn't actually pull in that much money and pull in that many pay-per-view buys, and these were extremely exaggerated. Triller has also had a past of exaggerating numbers themselves, so I choose to believe that Jake Paul versus Ben Askren did not even do 1 million pay-per-view buys, and probably did under that, and if it did like the bare minimum of 1 mil, and I think that it did under 1 million. And, but then all of the boxing experts, everyone was saying Floyd versus Logan actually did 1 million plus buys. So these people are not haters, I mean, when I bring up these things, I'm coming with evidence, with people that are in the business, that are not the commentators like me and all the other people. These are not people that hate Jake. These are business people. These are people, like, Dana White doesn't, like, hate Jake. I mean, he does dislike him, but, he doesn't, like, despise the kid as much as, like, some random kid on the internet does. Eddie Hearn, like, Usman, like, they don't hate this guy, but they just know from a bit, like Usman said, from a business perspective, this fight with Jake didn't make sense because the numbers weren't there to support that Jake could sell a fight. And I couldn't believe that Jake did that pay-per-view buys with Ben. And I'm like, and when all these things are coming out, I'm like, I choose to believe those things because that's really where I felt that fight was really going, which was underperforming. So I think that Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley does not do 1 million pay-per-view buys. I think it will do underneath. If it does, I think it will definitely not cross the 2 million. While Tommy Fury adds some value because he's a Love Island star, and you're gonna have sorry, some exciting fights with like Amanda Serrano. I personally don't believe that this event has enough to draw in a lot of people, and I think that it's gonna be very much illegally streamed probably, and it's I just think they're gonna underperform heavily on this fight. Because while this fight is a lot more intriguing, not enough people care about Jake to pay for it, and I think at this point, people kind of are like, well, we'll see what happens, and I just think that we saw the TikTok event do poorly, and that's because it was overpriced, and I think this event is heavily overpriced. I mean, Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul was cheaper than this, so I think the pay-per-view buys will not be substantial, and I know that Jake Paul does not bring in the numbers that KSI and Logan Paul do, or the money. I'm sorry to say, but Jake versus Ben Askren's numbers were exaggerated, and he definitely does not sell pay-per-view buys or fights as well as they do. And he markets them well, but people just don't care enough, and they don't want to give him his money. And even if you go to the seating chart, and so the seating chart and the this came out 2 weeks ago. So the tickets have only been on sale for 2 weeks, and the fight's in 3 weeks, I believe. And as you can see here, it's not selling very well, at all. It's selling very poorly. I mean, there was so many seats available. He sold some seats, but for the most part, it's gonna be an L. I think this will look like the TikTok versus YouTube event with a lot of empty seats, half of the arena not filled. And I'm gonna be laughing because I love when Jake fails. It's awesome. And I revel at the fans that are gonna be disliking this video. It drives me, it really does. And it's just gonna be hard to sell all of these seats in just 3 weeks. It's not gonna be great. And again, these seats could go more, but I think even if I think that half of the arena is gonna be empty. Which is definitely satisfying for me because Jake says that he breaks all these records. And for some reason, they have Jake Paul and Woodley and then the Cleveland background in the distance. It's a little bit weird. I mean, he literally looks like a middle-aged man with tattoos. It's a whole L. So that's mainly what I wanted to talk about. Again, I think Tommy Fury, Anthony Taylor, I think Tommy wins. I think it's a little suspicious that Showtime wants Tommy and Jake to fight, and Jake's putting in Anthony, and I'm just a little okay, but I don't want to say stuff is rigged or whatever because I look like I'm trying to be a hater or I'm a fanboy of KSI. And I think that Jake's in for a tough fight, I think. We'll see. And I mentioned this on the podcast, and I know I'm just rambling, and the video should have ended, but I'm going to continue talking. I think Colby Covington said that he sent some of his guys to work with Jake, and Jake crumbled under the pressure, and there's a reason why the tough guys don't get invited back. And if that's the way Jake's camp is operating, again, Jake is one fight away from having his career over. Jake's going to have a fight, and it's going to be a bad wake-up call, and he's going to lose very badly and be humiliated. And honestly, this is Jake's own doing. If he had people that told him how it was, weren't yes men, challenged him, beat him really hard, and actually, if he was going to talk the big talk, he actually fought these people and beat them, he actually could be successful. So, Jake's whole undoing is really himself, and he has no one to blame but himself when he inevitably loses, because it will happen, and he's not a real fighter. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Like, sub, and comment, and I'll see you guys soon. Great outro.